Alright, what's going on, people? So just a quick prediction on the Bivol versus Canelo fight. By the time I'm recording this, it's 12 hours before the fight occurs. But I'm gonna upload it on YouTube probably 6 to 8 hours before the fight, just so that we can get a little more time before the fight occurs. Anyway, here's the thing. I'm gonna make a spoiler for you guys. I think Bivol can pull it off. I think Bivol can win technically, but it's gonna be difficult to win on paper, okay? Here's why. The reason why I think Bivol is gonna win is because his lead hand is just so much better than a lot of the past opponents of Canelo. And that lead hand is gonna give Canelo some troubles, you know, just like what happened to Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's gonna knock out Canelo or do anything crazy. I just think it's gonna outpoint him. However, again, it's gonna be difficult to win in the cars. The only way to really win, in my opinion, for Bivol is if he wins 10 rounds at least. If he wins 7 rounds to 5, they're gonna give it to Canelo. He wins 8 rounds to 4, they're gonna give it to Canelo. He wins 9 rounds to 3, it might be a draw. If he wins 10 rounds to 2, that's his only way to win, really. Here's the thing. I think Canelo's gonna start slow. Bivol is gonna win the early rounds. Canelo's gonna try to land that one big shot in the later rounds. He's gonna have a sense of urgency, and he's not gonna end up doing it. Okay, Bivol is just too smooth. He has a better defense than Gennady Golovkin, better footwork and better distance management than Kovalev, and better ring generalship and better combinations compared to a Caleb Plant. And if you ask me, I think Bivol is a combination of all of those three. I think it's a combination of a Golovkin without the power, of course. It's a combination of Golovkin without the power. It's a combination of Kovalev, Golovkin, and Caleb Plant. All in one, you know, but just much better in some elements. And this is why I think he's gonna win. He's gonna keep Canelo at bay. Here's how I think the fight is gonna go, okay? Canelo's gonna start slow as always. He's gonna walk forward with his hands up. And he's gonna allow Bivol to land some jabs early on. Later on, he's gonna try to counter those jabs, but then Bivol will end up countering his counters. So Bivol will end up countering the counters of Canelo. And then later on, because Canelo finds such a hard time landing to the head, is gonna go down to the body. As Eddie Reynoso, or not Eddie Reynoso, I forgot which coach it was. But a coach always reminds his fighters to go to the body. I can't remember his name though. Anyway, he's gonna try to go down to the body, but again, Bivol is gonna be too far away. He's gonna try to land to the body, but Bivol is gonna be too far away to land those shots. Later on, he's gonna try to cut off the ring, but then again, Bivol will use his footwork, his lateral movement is gonna know how to stay off the ropes, which he has proven in the past he can do, you know. You never see Bivol stay on the ropes for too long. And if he does, it's because he knows he can take the shots of his opponent. If he feels a threat, if he feels that his opponent has the power to hurt him, he's not going to stay on the ropes for too long. He knows how to pivot around, he knows how to turn his opponent, he knows how to use some wrestling tactics such as, you know, controlling the head, such as pinning the arm, and such as shoving, you know, shoving them forward. He knows how to do those tactics in order to keep his opponent at bay. And then another one that he can use is the blinder, okay? This is what Shakur Stevenson used against Oscar Valdez. Again, if you look at the Kovalev versus Canelo fight, Kovalev was really effective with this tool. He was just sticking his lead hand out. The only problem was that he wasn't following it up, and he wasn't following it up with any power jabs. He was just sticking it out, and that's about it. That's why Canelo had a lot of confidence to come forward. He had a lot of confidence to keep on coming forward. And then later on, he got caught with a big shot. I mean, Kovalev was overtrained, Kovalev was flat-footed, so it's gonna be a much different fight on this one. So that's it, man. Bivol, I'm rooting for Bivol, man. I think he's gonna win technically, but it's gonna be difficult to win on scorecards, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a robbery. But I'm favoring Bivol at the moment. I don't see Canelo catching him with any shot. I don't see Canelo knocking him out, I should say. I don't see Canelo really overwhelming him. I don't see Canelo over-pressuring him. He just has too much footwork, too much defense, too much counter-punching for Canelo to deal with. Plus, he knows how to manage the distance very well. maybe even better than a Golovkin, or maybe even better than a Caleb Plant, I should say. And he knows how to fight on the front foot. That's the most important thing. If you're just fighting on the back foot like a Danny Jacobs or a Caleb Plant, it's only gonna be a matter of time before Canelo catches you with a big shot. But if you know how to fight on the front foot, like a Kovalev or like a Gennady Golovkin, then it's gonna be a much longer fight. It's gonna be a much closer fight because you know how to set up your offense and you're not always in the retreat. If Canelo sees that you're always in the retreat, eventually he's gonna catch you on the ropes. Eventually he's gonna trap you there, and he's gonna make you pay. Bivol has too much footwork again, too much defense. Bivol, he never commits the same mistake twice. That's what I like about him. If you look at the Joe Smith fight, he got caught with an overhand right over the top of his jab. He never got caught with that shot again in that entire fight. If you look at the fight against Jan Pascal, he got caught with a straight right hand down the pipe. He never got caught with that shot again. And so here's the thing. If you look at a lot of Canelo's fights, the first time he lands a power shot, it's usually not the shot that knocks the opponent out. Usually it's the second shot or the third shot. So if, let's say Canelo catches Bivol with a power shot, let's say a body shot, if Bivol survives that initial knockdown or that initial power shot, he's not going to commit that same mistake again. He's not going to get hit with that same punch again. And that's what I really like about Bivol. He knows how to make adjustments. And I just think the lead hand is going to give Canelo some troubles. I'm sorry, guys. I know he has more head movement than Oscar Valdez. I know he has more defense than an Oscar Valdez. But I watched his fight against Kovalev, and it convinced me otherwise, you know? Because we never really see him with opponents who stick their lead hand out for that long. And I think Bivol is going to be the one to do that. We've seen Floyd do that. We've seen Kovalev do that. Guess what happened? Canelo lost some rounds. And in fact, I think Kovalev was winning before he got knocked out by Canelo at that time. And the key was the lead hand. Kovalev wasn't even throwing any power shots. Kovalev wasn't even throwing his signature right hand, yet he was winning. Why? Because he knew how to maintain the distance and he was landing jabs. You know, imagine if it was Bivol. Bivol has more condition. Bivol is younger than Kovalev. He has more footwork than Kovalev, better defense than Kovalev. And he knows how to use his lead hand. I'm sorry, I know Kovalev is known for his lead hand, but the old Kovalev versus the Bivol Kovalev, or the old Kovalev versus the young Bivol, I think Bivol has a better usage of the lead hand. He knows how to use it in a variety of ways. He throws power jabs, he throws soft jabs, he sticks it out. He has a lot of ways to use it. He uses it to bait his opponent to counter, and then he goes on to counter the counter. And so those are the reasons why I think Bivol can pull it off again. If Canelo wins via decision, it's gonna be a close one, you know. And if Canelo knocks out Bivol, then again I'm wrong, and I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna accept that. But it's very unlikely, guys. It's very unlikely. Bivol does not make the same mistakes that Canelo's previous opponents did. He doesn't bend at the waist like Caleb Plant. He doesn't stay on the ropes for that long like a Kovalev. Who else has Canelo fought lately? Again, he doesn't bend at the waist like a Billy Joe Saunders. Who else has he fought? Billy Joe, Caleb Plant, and yeah, I can't forget, he doesn't stay on the back foot and stay on the defensive like a Danny Jacobs. Who else has he fought? Callum Smith. And he doesn't stay, or he's not as fast-footed as Callum Smith. Also, he has better defense than a Gennady Golovkin, okay? And probably better distance management as well. So that was it. Again, good luck to Bivol. I'm rooting for him in this fight. I think he can pull it off, but it's going to be difficult to win in his scorecards, unfortunately, like I said. Hopefully he wins. And again, this is not a bias against Canelo, because if you look at all of my Canelo pre-fight breakdowns, I have always favored Canelo, but this is the right time. I think this is the right time to go against Canelo, to bet against Canelo. So I would go with Bivol in this one via decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if a robbery happens, and if Canelo knocks him out, then shit, it'll be one of the biggest mistakes that I made, and I'm gonna accept that. Canelo will prove me wrong if that happens. I just don't think it will. So that was it. I'll see you guys soon. Subscribe if you're new. I hope Bivol wins later, and we'll come back after the fight, man. This is going to be much closer than people think. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.